Alright everyone, today we're going to make some chicken fajitas. Pretty easy to do. There's some steps involved, but it's not hard. And we're going to be doing chicken fajitas today, but actually all the other ingredients are pretty much the same. You can use any type of meat you want, but we're going to be showing how to do the chicken today. So you're going to need peppers. 3 different colors is what's great to use. So I've got green, red, and this is an orange, even though it looks kind of yellow. And also a jalapeno. These are all from my garden actually, and then I also got some more peppers over here, an orange, another red. You need an onion, lime, garlic, and you need some cilantro. I got some fresh from my garden, and then I got some that I dried from my garden. So you need about a 1/4 cup of cilantro, but you can use a little less depending on how much you want in there. You need your tortillas. You can use flour or corn. I prefer corn, so I got the corn tortillas. Some chili powder, olive oil, canola or vegetable oil, and salt and pepper. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my chicken cut up. I have 2 big chicken breasts here. The package says it weighs a little over a pound. This would be good for probably 2, 3, even probably 2 to 3 people. Wouldn't say 4. So get as much chicken as you think, up to a 1/2 pound per person. And we're going to go ahead and cut that up into strips. So it is going to cook nice, and it's going to get marinated real nice before we cook it. So let me go ahead and get that cut up and show you what we need to do there. Alright, so if you start with pretty large chicken breasts here, these are about a 1/2 pound each. If they're pretty thick, you can cut them in half. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that's going to give us nice thinner pieces, because we want to have pretty thin pieces. And then once they're cut in half, you can go ahead and cut them into strips. And you want them to be all about the same thickness. And you know, you've had fajitas before, so you know it's pretty much going to be small strips of chicken. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. Alright, so I've got the chicken all cut up, and as you can see, some strips over here about how I cut it. They don't have to be perfect, just get them cut up into strips here. And we're going to make a marinade now to marinate this in. Alright, so for the marinade, you can put it in a bowl or a bag. I'm using a bowl here, it's easier for me. And we're going to be adding 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm actually going to have to go grab a little more olive oil. That's the first tablespoon. Alright. 2, 3. And we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of lime juice. So I'm going to kind of estimate here. I got something in there. And I'm just going to squeeze my lime. I got a tablespoon here. And I'm missing and dripping some, but it looks like half a lime is just about 1 tablespoon. And I need 2, so I'll do 1 more here. And 2 tablespoons. Then we're going to add a clove of minced garlic. Have that here. And after the garlic, need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So we'll go ahead and get our salt. I'm going to kind of estimate this because it's going to fall. There we go. And we also need a 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. This is going to come out all on the top here, so I'm just going to kind of estimate what's falling through and what's actually going in the spoon. And it looks like that should do it. And then we need a 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro. So I'm going to have to get my cilantro cut up or add some dry. And we also need to add a cut up jalapeno. And it says to use, you know, you can use about 1/2. I'm going to use a full jalapeno, but most people, you know, it just depends how hot you want it. I want mine to be pretty hot. So I'm going to cut this up, get the seeds out, and then mince it up. And I'm also going to cut up the parsley, chop that up, and then we'll add that in. Alright, so I've got the jalapeno all cut up, and I got my cilantro, the fresh cilantro cut up. And you need a 1/4 cup of cilantro. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of dried. Fresh is stronger, so it's going to be pretty nice and strong because I have the fresh stuff. I'm going to put this all in here. going to put in most of the jalapeno that I cut up there. Leave a little bit out. Get all the cilantro in there if I can. And then, since I know I'm a little short, I'm just going to grab a little bit more dried cilantro that I dried myself. And now, that is our marinade. All we have to do now is get this stirred up. Get the oil and the lime juice and everything mixed up in there. And then, we'll take our chicken and get our chicken in here. And again, stir it up, make sure to get the ingredients all over everything. As you saw, this doesn't have tons of marinade before I put the chicken in. It doesn't look like a ton of marinade, but it's plenty to cover everything in here. And if you're making more chicken, you can always double the recipe. And now with this, you can marinate this overnight if you want. I am going to marinate this just for a couple hours because I don't want to wait overnight. But you can marinate it as long as you like with any type of meat marinade. No longer is usually better, but even an hour is fine. So go ahead, once that's all mixed up, cover it. Got my cover under there. And then let it sit in the fridge for as long as you want. But do take it out up to an hour, at least a half an hour before cooking, so it can get up to room temperature. So while this is marinating, I'm going to show you the other steps with our other ingredients and what we have to do with those. Alright, so now we need to cut up our peppers and get the seeds all out of them and cut them kind of into strips. And it's real simple to cut these up. Just get out the inside like that, real easy. And then just go ahead and start slicing it into strips. And you can also get out more of this white stuff in here too as you're going. And basically just cut these into strips. Real simple and easy. I did grab one more jalapeno from my garden because I'm going to put one jalapeno while I'm cooking all the peppers, just to add a little bit more spice. Again, that's personal preference. You can add that or not depending if you want it to be spicier or not. So again, don't make them too big of pieces because they are going to be, going in a taco shell. And mine are actually a smaller size one. And all we gotta do is cut those up. So let me go ahead and get these all cut up quick. Alright, so cut up, you'll end with something like this. Got my onions, my peppers over here, my jalapeno over here. And you just get them all sliced up into strips. And now the last thing to do is get this cooking. So let's go over to the stove and get everything going. Actually, before we get cooking, I'm going to add one extra thing to mine. And this is not normal, it's not recommended, so you don't have to do it. But I have a tomato from my garden that I don't know what to do with really. So I'm going to throw some sliced tomato pieces in there as well to add to some flavor. So I'll get that cut up and you'll see it when we go over to the stove. You can do this if you want. It adds a nice little flavor of the tomato in there, but it's not a standard usual thing that people do. So it's just a little extra. Alright, let's get cooking. Alright, so now to start cooking it, start with a medium-high heat pan and put in about a tablespoon of oil. Canola or vegetables, fine. And then we're going to start cooking our chicken. Add it in our marinade here. I'm just going to push it all in there. I have a spoon cover over here actually I want to grab quick. So I'll push in all the chicken. And we're going to get this all cooked. It'll take anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. Just make sure everything's cooked through. Keep stirring it every minute or so. Also at this time, when we just put in the chicken, throw in a little bit of salt and pepper to your taste, however much you like. About a teaspoon or so of each is fine. My pepper comes out slow, so shaking it a lot there. Alright, so now when your chicken's cooked, you're going to get it out of the pan. I've actually got a second pan over here. that I'm going to cover. It's on low heat on the other burner here, just to keep it warm. But you could throw this in just a big bowl or anything to keep it warm, but you don't want to take out all the liquid here. I'm doing it side by side here, kind of had it off camera. But I'm just throwing all this chicken into another pan, but leaving most of the liquid, because that liquid is going to be our seasoning for our peppers as well. So you don't have to worry about getting every little chunk of chicken out. It's alright if little pieces are in there. As you see, get most of it. And then we have our nice kind of marinade in there. You can also add a little bit more oil, because that's a mixture of a few things in there. Add just a tiny bit more oil to it. And now we're going to add all of our peppers and onions. And we're just going to cook these up for a few minutes. You don't need to cook them too long. It's a light cook, but you want to get them actually a little bit blackened in some parts. So you're still on a really high heat. It shouldn't take too long since the pan's hot. And we'll show it to you when we're done with that. And then one last thing you're going to need is a way to get your tortillas hot. And I'm going to be using this griddle, but you can use a pan on high heat, about 20 seconds per side. I'm using this so I can do multiple at once. Or you can microwave them. I believe it's like 20-30 seconds for a few. But they'll turn out better on a stove top or griddle like that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple, about 4 or so tortillas on there once my peppers are done here. Alright, so the veggies are getting close to done here. Gonna finish up the last step. Alright, so like I said, last step is heating these up, just about 20 seconds per side, 20 to 30 seconds per side. Got this on a high heat, and then we're done. All you do is throw in your meat and vegetables there, and then serve up with some sour cream, hot sauce maybe, some cheese. Some people put lettuce, avocado, anything else you want to use as a topper, and it's as simple as that. So I'll show you the finished product once I make one. That's how you make fajitas at home. Any questions, let me know. Happy cooking, and we'll see y'all later.